Tiki's back from Japan. How the hell was Japan,
We got the band back together. It's crazy. Japan was amazing.
Even the flight, even having to be on a plane for 18 hours?
It mattered only for my kids. I can manage anything. I told you I went to New Zealand for a day about, 5 or 6 months ago. My kids handled it amazingly.
I don't get it, man.
Which made it an amazing trip for us.
Well, good for you.
There are no trash cans in Japan anywhere.
So where does the garbage go?
They make you hold it.
Excuse me?
You hold on to your garbage.
Can you imagine New Yorkers walking around holding our own trash for more than 5 minutes?
It is an amazing culture full of respect
Wow.
and dignity and honor and all these things. Like, you feel it when you're there. And it was the cleanest place I've ever been. Chaotic, but very clean.
Well,
we had a great time.
Good to have you back. I'm so happy today is today because I am been beaten down with bad baseball for months and months. We are now on the doorstep of the most anticipated football season I can remember. And I have a feeling that's come along and hit me over the last real day and a half that I wasn't expecting because the Jets basically did everything I wanted. I wanted Aaron Rodgers from the get-go. They got Aaron Rodgers. It was a long, grinding road. They got him. The Jets go into a season with expectations that, quite frankly, I've never had in my life. You could give me 1998, you give me 2008, you give me 2009, you give me 2010. Maybe it's a debate for another day. This is the most hyped I've ever been as a Jet fan. And so I'm excited. Like, I am through the roof.
You should be.
But now I'm nervous.
Why?
Because there are certain things you shouldn't say. There are certain things you should not bring up. And while I like DJ Reed, and he had a tremendous year last year, when I have to hear DJ Reed basically say, we're going to be the 85 Bears, now the hype, which I've embraced, and I'm all pumped up for, now it's gotten a little too, the 85 Bears?
Yeah, the 85 Bears were epic. So epic that they did the Super Bowl shuffle before the Super Bowl, right? So they knew that they were going to dominate the New England Patriots in that game. Now, I get why DJ Reed is feeling this excitement. This team feels as put together as it ever has been. They knew they were good on defense last year. They knew they had the potential to be good on offense. It never happened because Zach Wilson just couldn't get it together. And now you have Aaron Rodgers. And so this team, in their mind, feels like we're not going to have to grind for 35 to 40 minutes, maybe even longer sometimes, time of possession-wise, on the field because our offense stinks. Therefore, our defense can excel. I get why he's excited for this.
I'm excited. I am pumped up. In fact, the other emotion that hit me is, why do I got to wait till Monday? Like, it actually bothers me now that I got to wait 6 days to see my football team play. I say this as a fan. I don't say this like a troll, like the other guy on the other side of the glass. Last year, this defense, which made incredible improvements, forced 2 turnovers in the final 8 weeks of the year. Okay? That's what this defense did.
Yes.
This defense gave up a 4th down, 51-yard touchdown pass to a tight end in Detroit no one's ever heard of. And we could sit here all day and talk about Robert Saleh's timeouts. The Jet defense was 1 play away from getting off the field, and they failed. And don't get me started about Seattle when the Seahawks marched down the field. Kenneth Walker still running on 4 or 5 plays to score a touchdown on the opening drive and scored on their first 3 possessions. Like, this defense was a top 5 unit last year. This defense has a chance to be even better this year, obviously.
Yes.
But this defense has a lot to prove. And before we get to the 85 Bears or the 2,000 Ravens or the Legion of Boom, can we not lose our final 6 games? Can we not force only 2 turnovers in the last 8 weeks? Like, this is the first comment I've heard. Nothing from Aaron Rodgers did this. Nothing from anyone's done this. That makes me physically nervous. Like, the 85 Bears?
Excuse me? Look, the 85 Bears were epic. They're one of the greatest teams in football history because they had one of the greatest players offensively in football history. Obviously, defensively, they were amazing with all the Hall of Famers that were borderline Hall of Famers, a couple of Hall of Famers, but borderline Hall of Famers. But this tells me something that we speculated about, but we haven't actually heard from the Jets. That is that they are feeling themselves, that this conversation is going on in that locker room. Now, I guess this happens in every locker room to some extent, probably not to this, heightened of an expectation. But ever since Aaron Rodgers came to this team, they knew that they could win. Ever since this defense started to realize that our offense is going to carry us more than they did last year, this defense has started to really feel themselves. They drafted 2 really good defensive ends over the last couple of years. They have one of the best, if not the best, cornerbacks in the NFL. Their secondary is solid all the way around. Second level is actually pretty good as well. Like, they are confident, and they're talking about this in the locker room. The fact that it got out is probably a mistake.
You think? The Jets already have this massive target on their back?
I mean, probably, but only so if they don't live up to it. But we know that
they can't live up to the 85 Bears. He didn't say we're going to be a top 5 defense or a top 3 defense.
Forget the 85 Bears.
Well, I can't forget it because he brought it up.
I know
I didn't bring it up.
But they are thinking that they can be elite. And that's not a bad thing because it sets an expectation of where they want to and should be this season. Now, the 85 Bears they didn't lose. They lost.
They went
game.
15-1 and they won the Super Bowl. Yes,
and they were unbelievable. And
yes.
You knew it from the very beginning because their offense had tons of weapons. Their defense was solid. And they were almost a shoo-in to get to the Super Bowl, and then ultimately they dominated in that Super Bowl. Now, with that being said, why not make an expectation for yourself?
But you know what?
That people are going to be saying anyway.
Here's what's crazy.
People are saying this already.
Who is saying the 85 Bears?
Not the 85. Forget the 85 Bears. The Bears were an example.
That's the part I can't get past. See, here's what's funny about me. Maybe I'm a hypocrite. I'm just being honest with you how I feel. When Rex Ryan took over a decade and a half ago and said, we're going to go to the White House and we're going to have the best defense in the NFL, I loved it.
Yep.
There are certain things in sports that are sacrilegious. The 85 Bears, the 27 Yankees.
Is this like superstition, touching the money type of thing?
It's not even superstition or touching the money. It's, can you become the best defense in the NFL? Can you get off the field on 4th and 1 against the Lions? Can you force turnovers in the last 8 weeks? When you can do all of those things, the Jets have a chance to be damn special. Like, I fully get that.
Yes.
But the 85 Bear thing, for whatever reason, I'm just being honest with you as a Jet fan, when I heard that made me cringe. It was the first time during this entire hyped-up offseason that I, as a Jet fan that have bought into everything, and I am so excited, actually said, well excuse me? 85, DJ, I love you, pal. Right. 85 Bears?
So what makes you so nervous about this? Because they're too cocky? Right, it's only cocky and dangerous if you can't back it up.
Because I'll start with this. I don't think they're the 85 Bears. Like, they have a chance to be a really good defense, but here's the thing that's tough for me to forget. I can't forget the last 8 weeks of last season. And I know that the Jets have done a great job of letting everyone forget about it. I lived it. Every Jet fan, diehard Jet fan, lived it. The Jets collapsed last year. And while Aaron Rodgers being quarterback makes a huge difference, and notice I haven't brought him up here. I'm not talking about him. I'm not talking about what this offense can be. I'm talking about this defense.
But that's why they're saying
has a lot of things it needs to clean up.
But part of the reason the defense struggled at the end of last year is because the offense was a lot of 3, 4, 5 and outs. Like, they just weren't good. Like, the time possession was crushing to the defense last year. That's not going to be the case this year. And I think the reason if they go down and they go score, opening drive, Jets go score, they all of a sudden have a bigger advantage than they've probably had in decades. That is, an opposing team's offense now feels desperate. Right. When was the last time that you felt that way as an opponent of the Jets?
1998, probably.
Exactly. So
if I'm being honest.
Exactly. So we, as an opponent, are saying, God, if we got to keep up with Aaron Rodgers now. He just goes down and scores, and they get another possession and they score again. Now we're throwing the ball over the field. And if you're the Jets defense in that scenario, you are teeing off. You got your ears pinned back, going after the quarterback. Sauce Gardner's licking his chops. DJ Reed's feeling all excited because it's hard to abandon one side of your game. And I think the Jets offense is going to force other teams' offenses to do that.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. What I have a tough time kind of comprehending is taking this defense and all of a sudden putting it on this pantheon of all-time great defenses, win some games, make the postseason, and then we have and you know who said it best? C.J. Mosley, who's a captain on this defense, was asked about these comments and basically walked it back for DJ and said, look, we got a lot to prove. We're confident in what we can be, which I am too, by the way. The strength of this Jet team going into this year is their defense. They have an incredible cornerback duo. They are going to have a pass rush this season. I trust the coaching staff on defense. Like, I'm not anti what this defense can be. I think they need to clean some crap up from what we saw the last 8 weeks of last year. But it's those magic words. And maybe for me as a geek who my first lesson in football, like the first thing I ever was learning about in the history of football was 85 Bears, was greatest game ever played. Like there were certain things you learn about right away as a sports fan.
Yeah, I was a big Walter Payton fan, so that 85 Bears team was unbelievable.
So it's sacrilegious. Well, I mean, to hear that kind of comparison. And I'd love at the end of this year to fight tooth and nail with haters like Sean Morash, where I can say, boy, this 23 Jet defense, I put them right up there with the 85 Bears. I want to have that fight.
Yes,
but you got to do something before you have that fight.
I know, but that's the expectation that they're setting for themselves in that locker room. And I think that is it's meaningful. You can't discount it. I know you're scared because it feels like
Tiki. I am scared crapless. I'm a baby. I am. I am. I got to tell you,
they're setting themselves up to put themselves on a pedestal and then fall. Right? That's what it feels like.
It does.
And you bring up the situations from last year, like the Detroit game. I was at that game, and as soon as I saw man coverage, I was like, "This is going to be trouble." Right? Because the linebacker got picked. I forget which one it was, and the tight end. Everybody else has got their back turned because it's man coverage.
51
coverage.
yards. Guy rolls into the end zone.
Because it's zero coverage. There's no help, right? It was, all right, we got to stop this one play. Let's man up. Linebacker gets picked. Tight end comes clean off the other side, and he's 51 yards untouched for a touchdown. I get it. That was one mistake. But it's not indicative of what the Jets' defense was a year ago or I think what it's going to be better as this season. And so – yes, they're talking internally. This is what they're saying. This is what they're having their conversations over lunch or in the hot box or sitting on the practice field. This is what they're talking about. And I think setting that expectation is a great thing. The challenge is it now that it's out. Yeah. Just like with Robert Saleh's, keeping receipts thing last year. Once it's out,
God,
if you don't live up to it, people crush you.
You don't think the haters out there, including that guy 15 feet away from me, is going to use the 85 Bear line against me and every Jet fan for the rest of the season?
It is the kiss of death. It is Vince Young declaring the 2011 Eagles the dream team.
And you know what's funny? That's what has scared me this entire offseason because I've said to you, this doesn't feel like a dream team. I've said that to you before.
No.
Despite
accumulation of talent. That's what everybody wants to say, but that's not what this was.
It was Aaron Rodgers. Now, they did add Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, and now that was almost luck. I was almost like, all right, he's going to fall into our lap.
I get it. But this is the first time where it is starting to feel that way. And the Jets are a target. Because here's the reality. Other than me and Beningo and every other diehard Jet fan around here, everybody else wants us to fail. Everybody wants this franchise absolutely.
I don't feel that.
Oh, God, come on.
I think maybe the non-Jet fan in New York. So let's say the Giant fan.
That's happened over the last 3 weeks, clearly. Right? So the Giant fan has turned. And by the way, welcome. That's okay.
Yeah, the Giant fan has stopped saying, yeah, we don't care about you, to shut up and win already if you're going to win. Stop telling us that you're going to win. But if you say that like the fan in Kansas City or I'm definitely in Green Bay, but that's the wrong example. But like the
Buffalo,
fan
Cincinnati,
in Los Angeles, the fan in Los Angeles cares about the Jets losing. Like they're going to relish in the fact. I don't think
the New York Jets. I'm telling you, man, I have experience with this now.
This feels like a novelty to me. This feels just
Aaron Rodgers is hated.
No, exactly.
I don't think he's
throw that in there too. Aaron Rodgers is hated. People like making fun of the Jets. The LOL Jets thing has been going on forever, and it makes too many people uncomfortable that they may actually be good. Now, I can't wait, hopefully, to shut all these people up, including myself up, right? Because I'm still kind of that negative Jet fan that represents a decent amount of us.
I think you're reading this wrong, though, Ev.
Reading what wrong?
Because think about when Tom Brady... Did people hate Tom Brady? It was almost hard to hate him because he was so successful. I know the Jet fans obviously loathed him because of the success.
No, the majority of football fans kissed Tom Brady's ass and still do.
It was... When he left the New England Patriots and went to Tampa, it felt like, man, this is kind of odd. You don't see a Hall of Fame quarterback leave, almost it felt voluntarily, leave his former franchise and go to this moribund place, even though they won a championship back in 2002, the 2003 Super Bowl, and try to win? It was curious. It was just kind of like,
right.
Huh? That's odd. That's weird. That's what this feels like, I think, to most people for Aaron Rodgers. Like, man, this is odd. He's coming to New York.
Okay, there's two.
And not only is he coming to New York, talking about Aaron, he's coming to New York, and he is the antithesis of what everybody thought he was.
Right, but there are two things you're missing about this. Number one, most people didn't give a rat's ass about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, okay? The Jets are still a New York team.
Oh, people give a rat's ass about the Jets?
Yeah, because they've been the joke for the last decade now. Everybody loves to make fun of the Jets. Oh, it's so Jets-like. It's Jets this, it's Jets that.
You ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
And number two, and here is the big difference, Aaron Rodgers' treatment versus Tom Brady's treatment. Okay, Tom Brady has been the golden boy for the last 2 decades. Aaron Rodgers, even by some Jet fans till he came here, didn't like him. They thought he was arrogant. They thought he was out of touch. They think he hates, COVID vaccine, whatever the hell you want to bring up.
Yeah.
So I think you've got a quarterback that while he's ingratiated himself to me, I love Aaron Rodgers so far. Yeah, now,
it's hard not to.
Yeah, he's done everything right. I mean,
right.
If he fails, he fails. We'll see. I will turn on him, like we all will. Let's not kid ourselves. Like we all turn on every other superstar that comes here and fails. But for now, he's been perfect. But for most other people, they are sitting there waiting for this franchise to fail. And I'm sorry, when a guy on this team who I like DJ Reed, he had a good year last year. When he comes on and brings up the 85 Bears, it allows, excuse my language here, douches like Morash,
There's a lot of crows pecking at our neck.
Thank you.
to attack us when things go bad. And here's the reality. And I'm sorry if I sound scared. I am scared. I thought I was going to die a week ago. I am scared of this football season. Because as excited as I have been, I am now scared of failure. I'm scared of embarrassment. I'm scared of the jokes. I'm scared of Giant fans. I'm scared of my own freaking shadow, Tiki. I'm a baby.
Let's go.
I think it's so many things have to go wrong for that failure to happen.
Oh. Would you like me to make a list?
I mean, just so many of them. Mekhi Becton's got to get hurt.
But you act like that's crazy, by the way.
But I'm just saying, that was the beginning of my list.
Oh,
and then
okay.
Max Mitchell is the starting right tackle, and he whiffs like he did a lot in the preseason. Breece Hall doesn't get back from his injury, and Dalvin Cook is not nearly the same player in this offense.
You're trying to make me physically sick again?
No. I'm just saying all of these things kind of have to happen.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson has to strain his hamstring. Yes, they do.
Tiki.
When you have an elite level quarterback like Aaron, let's not forget, 2 years ago he won the MVP. And last year he played with a broken thumb, or broken whatever finger or digit it was. I don't remember. I think it was his thumb. And he was not great for a while, but ultimately he kind of figured it out. Aaron Rodgers is going to be fine. I'm not worried about Aaron Rodgers unless he gets hurt. And that's one of the things on the list. If all of these things happen, and probably first with Aaron Rodgers if he gets hurt, then you worry about the Jets being a laughingstock. But if all of that happens, of course they're going to stink, right? It's like so I'm doing the game this weekend with Tampa
Right.
and in Minnesota. And Tom Moore is on that staff, right? He's great, long time. I think he's 80-something years old, right? And he talked about when he was with Peyton Manning. When Peyton Manning was the starting quarterback, and they're like, hey, Peyton takes all the snaps. You ever, put Jim Sorgi in there? And he basically said, it was just the greatest quote I've ever heard about star quarterbacks on a team. He said, if Peyton Manning gets hurt, we are effed, and we don't practice effed. Right? So if it happens,
Right.
If he's hurt, if Aaron Rodgers is hurt for the Jets, they're screwed, period. And you just got to accept that. But that's like all of those other things have to happen, and Aaron Rodgers got to get hurt for this Jets team to fail this year.
Well,
and
you
I
are
can't
kissing death right now. You're the kissing death with this description.
Evan, this is where it's changed, though, and what Tiki's not realizing. DJ Reed brought up the 85 Bears, and he brought up the Legion of Boom. Those teams won Super Bowls. They didn't lose in the divisional round. So the expectation now, I don't want to hear that nobody is saying Super Bowl. You don't bring up a great defense that didn't win the Super Bowl. So you could check all the boxes of things that have to go wrong. One thing goes wrong and the team could not be a Super Bowl champion. There's no running from it anymore.
But that's
the public expectation.
But don't people have that expectation anyways? Right? Isn't the public,
There's having it and there's flaunting it.
Isn't the public saying this anyway? Let me look at Superbook.
Well, the Jets are like
Superbook
6th or
and see what
7th.
the line is.
They're in the conversation, like I was stressing to Sean a week ago. They're not the favorites. The Chiefs are the favorites. The Bengals are ahead of them. Buffalo's ahead of them. And by the way, rightfully so. I don't disagree with that. The Jets are in the conversation. But what I'm now noticing over the last couple of days and weeks is not just Giant fans, even if you haven't done it yet, but around this country, everybody's rooting for this team to fail. This is Brooklyn all over again.
Really?
I witnessed. Yes, 1,000%.
It definitely is.
The Jets are the lead story everywhere, and no one wants the little engine that could LOL Jets to win anything.
All gas, no brakes.
Everyone wants to make fun of that. Everyone wants to make fun of DJ Reed's comments. And here's the truth, because this is how I feel. I've never been as excited for a football season as I am this year. But I've also never been as scared. I am frightened about what's about to happen. And here's what makes it worse, because I thought it was cool when it was first announced. The fact I have to sit there on Thursday night and Sunday afternoon and Sunday late afternoon and Sunday night with the Giants, and I got to sit here all day Monday, and I got to wait till Monday night before I see my team play football, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. I mean, I really am. The Jets are going to make me lose my mind, and they haven't played a game yet. They haven't even done anything yet.
Up in here.
The positive is you have 6 days after they lose on opening night to wash yourself, so it's quicker to get back.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I have to live with. I am weak.